Hello Virgo, Elsie here to do your reading. It is for the week ahead, Virgo. How you doing? I hope you're well. Thank you so much for clicking here. And hey, thanks for all the views on the last video I put up for the in-between. We are looking at oracles. I'm always reading for the week ahead, so whenever you get this, look, if it's this week you get this, it's for the week ahead. If you get it next week, it's for the week after that. So I'm reading all of these oracles for the overall feel for the week ahead. And if you are brand new, that's how I always read. I'm going to throw some tarot down with this as well. We're going to get some details after we get the overall feel here. And welcome here, Virgo. I hope you're well. Thanks for rolling up on all the shenanigans here. I hope you'll stay. Add yourself to this beautiful Virgo group. Happy birthday to you, friends. Look, we're almost at the end of your season. How quick did that go? Just like a snap, right? It's been pretty wild because of all of the eclipses that showed up in September. How's it going for you? Tell me about your Virgo placement. Where does it come up for you? Are you watching for Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or Jupiter? I have two Virgo placements. I think Pluto and Uranus is what my is Virgo for me. But tell me, where's your placement? Tell me about Virgo. And so at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you all about how to find the extended reading if you're interested in that. Also about how to get a private read if you're interested in that. Let's find out what's going on for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. The healing light is showing up for you here. The healing light is a place where you have realizations, where you figure out your own light, where you no longer have to be in the light of others. It's like you trust your intuition, and your third eye is beginning to open. You start to receive messages from the universe. So this could be in the dream state. It could be in the daydream state. It could be during meditation or prayer. Tell me more about Virgo, please. Your spiritual self is opening up here. We've got focus. I feel like that is going to be your focus for the week ahead. It is going to be on the I think that you're going to be using your spiritual energy, whatever you get as downloads while the third eye is opening. I think you're going to start to see the obstacles that have been in your way, that maybe you haven't necessarily been focused on the obstacles, but I feel like it's like because we're heading closer to the partial solar eclipse in your sign, which is coming up on the 21st, and your energy encourages the whole zodiac to clean up and reorganize. I feel like you're starting to see where the blockages are. And I think these blockages are something that you're looking at moving away from or clearing away. So I think that your focus is going to be on possibly clearing obstacles, but through your spiritual self, through the spiritual eye. So maybe they are spiritual blockages. Tell me more about Virgo. We've got fear. So I feel like your back has been to this because you're just not interested in having to deal with whatever the obstacles are. So you might have been looking away from them instead of tackling them head on. But we do see here that the leopard, the snowy leopard here, is looking directly at the healing light here. So now I think that, and there's also pink in this card, right? We've got pink and purple, we've got yellow and blue. It feels like with the blue that you're going to be speaking. It feels like you're going to be speaking with strength, with clarity, and it feels like you're finally going to be seeing these obstacles for what they are. And it says here, I realize that I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. So it feels like you're looking at the obstacles in a loving way, or possibly there's been obstacles in love. And I think that you're going to get some kind of answer, as it were, coming up in the week ahead here regarding that. We have discovery. You're making some sort of discovery. And I feel that the discovery that you're making is something that you feel is has worth. It's worth looking at. It's worth spending my time on. It feels like a discovery of healing light. So you've decided to look at some sort of spiritual obstacle, or maybe an obstacle in love, and it's time now to pay attention to it. I need to clean it up, I need to reorganize it, and be ready for redirection is what it feels like here. We do have illumination. I like it. It came out with focus. Illumination. You're about to discover something here. A realization, a breakthrough moment, an illumination. Something, the light is going to show up and a spotlight is going to be on the thing that needs to change. We have peace. I am a being of love and release all negative energy. So part of the negative energy is the fear. So it feels like there are obstacles here that you have decided you're going to tackle. Let's find out what else is going on. Tell me about Virgo. It's like you're not going to be able to ignore the blockages anymore. You've got to clean them up. You've got to get into reorganization, clear out the closet, clear out the spiritual self. No more fear here, friend. I think that this mountain, showing this obstacle, mountains are obstacles, but they're also achievements. They can be obstacles disguised, or achievements disguised as obstacles, because we don't often get to an achievement without an obstacle of some sort in the way that we have to overcome, whether that's fear, fear of love possibly, fear of seeing our own light or the lights coming on, and then you've got to deal with whatever is in the basement or in the closet, right? You've got to clear it out. Tell me more about Virgo. We've got the Seven of Wands, we've got the Eight of Swords, and we have the Wheel. I kind of like it. We've got the Six of Wands on the bottom of the deck. Bottom of the deck for me is the future energy, and so is this. It feels like going in further into the month of September here, that you are about to get some sort of victory over something that I feel that you've been ignoring or turning your back to because it made you afraid. But I feel like the Wheel of Fortune is showing up for change. It's time for you to face something. And that thing that you're facing, that you've been putting in the background or keeping your back to or not wanting to notice, I feel like the change, the destined change, is going to expand. It's like this whole thing is going to change your life, but it's going to expand everything. It's going to expand love. It's going to expand your spirituality, your religious practices. It feels like it's a focus on the things that you can grow from. Look, we have the Seven of Wands here, and the Seven of Wands tells me that you were keeping to yourself, or maybe possibly protecting, I'm going to say maybe trying to block others out of your life for fear of, it feels like for fear of them seeing that you might have these obstacles. Look, we all do. But it's the perfectionism in you, I think, Virgo. The perfectionism is, I can't let them see me as anything less than perfect. And I feel like you were keeping people out of your life or out of your home. Maybe you didn't want to invite people to your home. Maybe you feel like your home's not good enough. It feels like you're finally coming to this place of light, that all I really had to do was look at the obstacle or blockage for what it was, instead of being caught up in my head with the Eight of Swords, instead of being stuck there in this mental prison I placed myself in. It's time for me to just reorganize and start to allow people in. I feel like you were blocking people out. I feel like something here is going to change, and it feels like that you are going to realize that you can live in the energy of love, and it's not a fearful thing. I think it's the energy of loving the self. I'm going to put down a couple cards here, and those two cards we're going to look at for, this is going to be the week ahead, but this is going to be the week further in, so the week after that. Tell me more about Virgo. We've got the Nine of Pentacles. We've got the Six of Swords. And so I feel as though you finally have come to a place of confidence, of organization. You have done the cleanup. You've reorganized. It feels like you're now feeling more confident. You're building something, whether that's a reputation or your business or maybe your finances, maybe your reputation in the workplace. The Nine of Pentacles can be that, follows the Eight, which is usually the workplace for me. It feels like it's time for you to move on because you have conquered something. There's a discovery and an illumination, and now you can move along in peace. Before, I think you had indecision. You had indecision about change here. And now you're ready for change because the Wheel of Fortune is here. So the change here, you had indecision about change. And I think that it was just a time of patience. You had to be patient for the illumination. All right, let's talk more. Let's find out about the Seven of Wands. I feel like you were blocking your intuition, or you were not paying attention to the inner self. This sometimes happens, and for those of you who are religious, please don't get offended, but sometimes when you're focused on something else, when you are focused on religion or focused on rules or focused on the way someone else is telling you that you have to be or you're not worthy, we tend to ignore what is in the inside. We stop listening to our intuition because we want to fit in with what everyone else believes. And I feel like this might be part of that as well. It feels like you were feeling a little bit blocked off from your own intuition because you wanted people to accept you into the group or into the fold, right? Tell me about the Seven of Wands, please. We've got the Five of Pentacles. You didn't want to be on the outside looking in. I feel like you wanted people to see your worth, and in order for you to be able to feel good about yourself or where you were in life, I think that it took the realization, being very focused, right? The Eight of Wands is about quick movement, but it's also about pinpointed focus. Where is my focus? Where am I going to put all of my energy? I think that in the week ahead, you're going to put all of your energy into meditation, maybe into journaling, figuring out who you are underneath, instead of following the crowd and doing what they say because you don't want to be told that you're going to hell or that you're not doing the right thing. I feel like you're finding your own spiritual self is what it looks like. No more feeling like your back is against the wall. No more feeling blocked off or not allowing people into your life because you felt like you weren't part of the fold. It feels like this, you find your worth. It feels like your spiritual worth, I feel like, with the Queen of Pentacles here, and your spirituality and the way that you celebrate your own spirituality, I feel is what is going to give you solid, steady, slow. This is the thing that's going to help you take care of yourself, health, wealth, home. I feel like you're going to start moving forward instead of like, I think that the Five of Pentacles was here telling me that maybe you were feeling less than, even though you were not less than, you were feeling less than, and only because you're not necessarily following the crowd. I've never really met a Virgo who did. Virgos are usually their own entity, right? They do their own thing and they're not necessarily the one who's going to follow the one in front of them. So your focus, I feel, this week coming up is going to be on possibly finding your ground and putting all of your energy into your healing light and how you're going to heal the self instead of getting everybody outside of you telling you that you need to read this scripture, or you need to pray this way, or you need to, fear this person or that person. I think that you're finally deciding to put all of your focus, energy, time, and effort into your spiritual self. I kind of like that the Tower shows up in the middle of the week here because it really is putting a spotlight on what is really important. I think that you had a block to your spirituality. And when I say about spirituality, I feel like we all celebrate our spirituality in different ways. Some of us choose to follow text. Some of us choose to follow meditation. Some of us have realized that you don't need the middleman in order to be connected to your God, that you don't need a bishop. You don't need a minister. You don't need that person. You can just do it by yourself. This is the realization I think you're having, Virgo. But we do have the Tower and the Eight of Swords. It feels like you had been boxed in or in some sort of a mental prison, feeling like you didn't have any worth or that you had a lot to offer, but there wasn't really anybody who was willing to take what you were offering. I feel like this mountain here that you're focused on looks like it's insurmountable, but I feel like you've made the really hard decision to put all of your effort, time, and energy into growing your own brand of spirituality, and I think that's what the Tower is. The Tower is a shift in your thinking. It's the shift of you finally bringing something to an end here. The 8 and the 2 is 10. Releasing the blockages, releasing the obstacles, I feel like that you've been following a path that other people have been telling you to follow, and I feel like you're no longer doing that you've realized with this Ace of Pentacles that you have worth and you have a lot to offer. You have a lot to offer people that are of all walks of life, whether they are religious or spiritual. And I was religious for many, many years of my life, so I don't have a problem with that. I still practice things in my life that are from religion, but I am a spiritual person. I call myself a hybrid. So I feel like you're moving into the hybrid section is what you're doing. You're not necessarily religious, but you're a person who is like blending the two, taking all of the best parts of the religions, all of them, and then adding your own spiritual twist to it. I feel like this is a really big change in your life, that you no longer fear the obstacles in your life because you can now see them with your own light. And you can tell people what you want to tell people, but unless they see it with their own light, with their own eyes, listen to it with their own intuition, they're not going to understand it. So you can make someone follow a rule, but they're not going to really feel it or understand it until at which time they do. They get the download, right? The pink is the crown chakra. The purple is the third eye opening. Until they really see it clearly for themselves, they're not going to be able to make the decision to release what is not theirs and move into this Ace of Pentacles where they know they have something to offer. So the Tower is shifting everything for you, and it's shifting everything in a very positive way for you, Virgo. It's shifting you out of fear, I feel, into fortune. It feels like for some of you, it says here that says, I really realize that I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. For some of you, it is love for the self. For some of you, it's love for another. Maybe it's romantic or platonic love, but something here is about to change. And expand, because this is Jupiter. Things are in a destined way. This is the time in your life when things are supposed to move forward in a very stable, secure, positive way. Tell me about the Wheel. We've got the Ten of Cups. I like that. The Knight of Cups is here. And then we have the Page of Wands. There are, for some of you, this could be a reading that is romantic related. It feels like you might be meeting someone new. It looks like although you've had a fear about getting into some sort of energy of love, it feels like things have changed. Destiny is here, and with expansion, I feel like the Page of Wands is telling me there's a little bit of excitement or a spark that strikes up between you and someone else with the Knight of Cups. It is going to quickly escalate from the Knight to the 10 if this is a romantic reading for you. For those of you who this is not a romantic reading, it feels like there is something exciting that has been moving super slow that I feel is of the heart space. Your happiness is about to show up. And I feel like that we're talking about you, those spiritual ones who are finally making the decision to be out on your own here with the Nine of Pentacles. You've built the spiritual self. You've got the confidence. You've built something on your own that is going to stand or last the test of time. And once you do, it's time to move over. It's a discovery of your spirituality, or discovering that after you get all of this out of the way, all of the obstacles out of the way, once you clean up and reorganize through this Virgo new moon eclipse, solar eclipse, I feel like this is what comes out of it. It feels like at the end of next week, it feels like things begin to change in the right direction. Something that's been moving super slow, you begin to see that there actually is happiness, emotional happiness here, inward happiness. And it's the spark of something really cool that's about to show up for you here. We've got 9 Pentacles, 6 of Swords, and like I said, this is the week ahead, but this is the week after that. Tell me about this. It feels like once you complete this cycle, because look, there's 9 and 1 is 10. Once you complete the cycle, you get to move on. You get to move on with the 10 Pentacles, which is maybe a long-term happy relationship. Maybe it's something like that, but it also can be the new job. It could be the new position. It can be the upgrade in a home. Maybe you're moving somewhere. It feels like you feel confident enough to carry out whatever it is, from the chaos of whatever this was at the beginning of the week to the calmer place. We've got the 3 of Pentacles, building the foundation, right? After a time of holding back or of indecision and fighting the change, fighting the end of the cycle. Sometimes we're fighting endings because we're nervous about the end, because the end sometimes has a poor connotation. But really understand that the end is also a release which gives relief. So I feel like the 5 of Wands and the 5 of Swords are here together because there is something that's going to happen quickly here. You're building a foundation right now and you're moving on, and I feel like that foundation is going to pay off. No more holding back, no more fighting change, because the illumination is here, the discovery that I can do it on my own. I can live in peace. I don't have to have indecision. I can live in peace here and give up the negative energies. We're going to go to the extended. If you're interested in the extended, please look at the pinned comment, which is under every one of the videos that I upload. You can purchase this outright if you want to see just this extended. You can go to the membership area if you want to see more than one extended. And if you want a private reading, whether it's pre-recorded or live with me, you can book those by taking the link to Hypsee. You can look at all my pricing, my timetable, and make your decisions there if you're interested in that. Let's put down 3 cards. We're going to go into the extended. We're going to clarify all of this. We're going to find out what happens here. We've got the King of Swords. Ooh, the Ace of Cups. I like it. And the 9 of Swords is here. Again, 10 swords are present. It tells me that you are in this time of release, Virgo. You are releasing the things that no longer that are no longer required in your life. That is the cleanup and the reorganization of this Virgo eclipse that's coming, right? This eclipse, new moon, solar eclipse in Virgo. And I feel like this is, you're becoming clear and honest with yourself about what it is that you want. I think that some of you really want the new beginning in love. For some of you, this is self-love. I'm going to accept myself for the thoughts that I have, the organization that I have, the clarity that I have. And it feels like it's because of the release of worry. The 10 swords is here. So we're going to go into the extension. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. We're going to dig in a little bit further to all of this. Bottom of the deck, we have the 4 cups in the reverse. I like it because you're out of the comfort zone. It feels like you're busting out of stagnancy, out of the comfort zone. I feel like you were here for a long while because you didn't want to be seen as different or veering off the path to everybody who's going the same way, everyone who's following each other. You're going off the path and you didn't want those people to say, hey, you're not part of our group anymore because you're off the path and doing your own thing. So let's go to the extended. Let's talk about it. Look, if you're not coming to the extended, that's cool because we are... I'm going to see you again anyway. I'm going to come back and give you more readings, Virgo. Thank you so much for being here and watching. I do appreciate you. I'll be back because I'm always back. See you in the extended if you are there. Take care. Bye-bye.